So now after we have been able to understand the component and its basic structure with the type and how can we set up the type inside the component, how can we handle props and props types, and all that stuff. Basically, we now can go ahead and use our to-do data inside the to-do component. So basically, we have this to-do object, which contains all the to-do element data, like the title and completed property. Also, we can use these data. So what we need to do, basically, as you already know, we just displaying this plain text of to-do for each to-do element. So for each to-do, we are just looping through the to-dos data element, this one. So we are looping through the to-do array and just displaying the to-do element, the to-do component. Inside the to-do component, we are just displaying this to-do plain text. Instead of this, we just need to go ahead and display the real data of this to-do element. Basically, instead of this, we just need to display a list of to-dos, and each list element will have the to-do title and also a delete button and also a button to set the completed property into true. So when it's being set to true, there will be like a line through this to-do title text, uh, which will determine that this to-do is completed right now. So we can what we can do right now. Let me first get rid of these because I was just using them to explain the idea. We can go here. Let me remove these as well. Okay. So basically, I will go ahead and use here instead of this to do, we need to create a wrapper component like just a div. So basically a div, and this div will have a class name of, let's call this to do. So this is another important concept inside React. So instead of class, which is the normal HTML class property. Instead of this class, we need to use class name to target this element, to give it a CSS class, let's say. Because in right here, as we already mentioned, this is not just normal HTML. Basically, it's a JavaScript, which will be compiled later into normal HTML elements. So in JavaScript, there is a already reserved word, which is class inside JavaScript. That's why we cannot use class right here. So I just remember that also we need CSS to use inside the application. And to save some time, I already have some CSS already created. I will just grab them from the other file, and I'll go into my CSS or app.css, paste these here, just basic CSS properties. I just save them, close it, get back to here, and we just here want to display the to-do title. As already mentioned, to use the JavaScript inside the GSX, we can use them or use JavaScript inside the curly braces. So to do, and inside to do, we need the title. So let's save. And if we can check out the output, as you can see, now we have a list of the to-dos titles. Each to-do title inside a separated list item, which is great, which is exactly what we want. So the other thing we want from here, we also need to have a button, just a delete button, and also a button to set this element into a completed element. So let's go ahead and implement these. Let's go here. So okay, inside here I will have another div wrapper, and inside it we will have a button. So this button, we need basically to check if the to do is already completed. We need to display the text of completed. If not completed, we need to display the text of incompleted. So to do that, we can check the status of the completed property inside this to do object. So let's go ahead and check to do dot completed, and we need to check that if it is true, then we need to display the text of completed. If it is not true, we need to display the incompleted, like so. So if I save, get back, as you can see, now we have this incompleted because this one is not completed. These ones are completed. So this one is completed, and those other to dos are not completed. So also, I just want to give this text, since it's already completed, just give it a CSS property to go through, like making a decoration of line through if this is completed. So how we can do that? We can just add some CSS here, right here. So we can add directly styles, CSS styles into the GSS component by adding this style element, and this should go through another object. So basically, this expects an object inside it. So you can have this directly inside here, like in two curly braces, or you can create a separate object, like here, for example. If you can go ahead and create const to do style, and this will have these CSS properties. Let's say so text decoration line through. This is the normal CSS. So we can have this inside this style, style property, instead of, or we can go ahead and have this directly inside our style property here. So basically, we just want only if the component or if the to do is already completed, we need to apply this, right? So what we can do, what we can check also for this to do completed. So we can do that by check to do dot completed. Let me close this sidebar. Yeah, make some space here. Okay, to do completed. If it is completed, then we need to apply this, right? Let me have this right here, so you can see it in a widescreen. Basically, the text declaration, it's basically check if the to-do is completed. Then it will apply this line through. If it is not completed, we simply can apply just an empty string. And as you can see here, to use CSS inside this GSX component, you basically need to use the camel case, not the normal CSS syntax. So in CSS, basically we can just text like or type like text decoration like this, and this will apply the CSS property. And in GSX, you cannot use this syntax. You need to go ahead and use the camel case. So JavaScript understands that this is a CSS property used inside JavaScript. So let's save and let's check this out. As you can see, so if it is completed, then like applying this line through on the to-do text, and this is exactly what we want to do with this text property. So let me zoom out to make this yeah, it's much better. Right now, what I want to do, I just want to apply a method on this button. So when the user click on this button, it will toggle the state, the completed state of this to do. If it is incompleted, it will then be completed. If it is completed, then it will be incompleted. How we can do that? We can go ahead and apply a method on the button. We can use on-click handler or trigger on-click that will apply a method here. So we can have like a direct method inside here. We have inside here the code, our logic inside here. Other than that, which is of course the best practice, is to have another a separated method like handle completed, right? So this handle completed, of course, we need to create this method, and this handle completed will have the ID of this to do, because as you already know, we have like 10 to dos. We need basically to know which to do item we are dealing with, because we are targeting this specific to do item. So how we can do that? We can basically have the to do ID from here. So we can pass the to do index into our to do component, and also by that we can target the index of this to do. So we can go ahead here and have this x. So in the map method of the array map method, you can have the real element and also the index of this element. So we can have like pass the index into our component. So let's have this index inside the, okay. It's complaining because I haven't declared the type of it right here. So let's have this index, and okay, we need to declare this right here as well. So this index, and basically it's a number, right? It's like an integer. So it's also complaining about this because it's not declared yet. That's why we need to also pass this into this. We can basically what we want to do, we need to create the method right here. This method will go through the to-dos inside this. It will look for the specific to-do we are targeting, and then toggle the completed status, and then return the rest or the new states of this to-dos list. So how we can do that? We basically can create a method here, and I will call it. We need to create this method right here, and then pass it into the to-dos into this to-do component, and then we can use it inside here. So how we can do that? We can go ahead and create const handle to-dos. Sorry, handle completed. It's basically a function, and it's accept an index, and this index is a number, type of number, and also we can set here also the type as well. So this handle completed will be passed into this component right here. So let's pass it right away in here. So handle completed. Oops. So this is the handle. You can call this, of course, whatever you want, this property, but this one should be the real value you are passing here. So okay, we need also to make sure that it's already here inside the props. So handle handle completed. Okay, and also need to use it here. And this handle completed will be a type of a function. So the function has a number as a parameter. So it accepts a parameter, and it should return it should return nothing. It will just return a void. So we can basically apply the type of this method like. So this will take a parameter of ID, which is the index, and this ID will be a type of number, and it will return a void. It's not returning anything. So basically the type is void here. And here we need to pass the index into this method, and basically just to know that everything is fine. And also, instead of passing the function like this, it's much better to pass it like a normal function, as you can see. So in this case, we are just calling this function, not just directly go ahead and implement this function. So we can save right here. What we have to do right here inside the handle complete, we need to handle the logic of changing the completed property of this to do. So how we can do that? We can first create const new to dos, and this will be like as you already know, these to dos is a list of to dos. So this list, basically, what we want from this list, when we need to create a new array from already existed one from this to dos, for example, we need to handle it like a spread operator. So this spread operator tells the new item created that we need the array and everything inside it, inside this to dos. So we are telling this. So basically, this new to dos is a clone of this to do. So what we need to do right now, we need to get this specific item from the to-dos list. So that's why we are having this index. And we created this new to-dos, and we need the index or this item with this index, and then the completed property of this item. So basically, this should be the opposite of this current status of this completed. Basically, it's toggling through true and false, true and false. So if it is this true, the it should be equal to false. So just need to apply the opposite status of this current status. So basically, it's the opposite. But it's now complaining because this one doesn't have any type. We need to apply the to-dos array type and on this new to-dos. How we can do that? Basically, we need first to apply the type on to-dos because it doesn't have any. So we can apply the type on this by apply this small than and bigger than symbol inside it. Inside it, we can declare the type of this to-dos item. And basically, it's an array of to-dos. So the items of this array is a to-do, and it's basically an array. So that's why how we can declare the type of an array. So it's an array, and the items are type of to do. So as you can see, this error is gone now. Now we need to set the new to dos or set the to dos into this new to dos because now this is a new one, different than the previous one. So basically, we can call this set to dos action or function we already created here, and we need to pass the new to dos array. That's why, or that's how we can handle this state or this use case. Just a recall. Let's say that we are just taking a clone of this already existed to dos, this new array, and we are targeting the element we need from this array and just changing the completed property into the opposite value. And then we are setting the new to dos or setting the to dos because you need to remember that we are dealing with this. The ones that been handled and displayed inside the application is these values. So we need to set the new values into this to dos. So now the to dos values is the new ones. So if we save and we get back into the application, let's click on this. So as you can see, this one is now completed. So it's incompleted. It should be this one. Actually, it should be the opposite. Why? Yeah, this is one. This is an issue from here. Yeah. So if it is completed, it should display incomplete, right? So if it is completed, we just need to apply the onComplete action, right? And if it is not completed, we need to apply this complete complete action, right? That makes sense. So this one is not completed. We can apply completed, and now it's completed, right? So that's exactly what we want from this action. So the same way we can use to implement the delete to do logic. So in order to do that, we can just go ahead and let's copy this real quick. We need to here just display normal text instead of this. let's say deletes, and here we'll accept handle delete, and also we'll take the index of the to do, and this should be passed as well from here. This let me add this as well. So handle deletes, handle deletes. Okay, this should be passed from the props, and let's go ahead here and create const handle delete. We'll accept the index type of string. Sorry, it's not string, it's a number. And so basically also we need to create a new to-dos, and that will be spread operator from to-dos. And here we can take the new to-do and apply a method to pop up or pop out the selected an item or range of items. In our case, we just need to splice one item. So we can apply this splice method, and we need to provide two parameters. The first parameter is the starting index, which is the index of the target element, and then the number of elements we need to pop out from this array, which is just only one element. In this case, we are telling that we are just splice the target element out of this new to dos array. The rest thing we need to do is to set the new to dos into this new set the to dos into this new to dos array. That's how. So also we need to pass this into the props. So in here, let's pass this as well. Okay, should be okay. You can save now. Let's check it out. So we have this to delete. If we press on the push the button, it will go ahead and delete the selected item, as you can see here, right? And if we reload, it should reload all the items again, because obviously we are not saving these data inside database or something, but just fetching these data from a demo API just to test. But as you can see, the process is working fine. That's exactly what we want. So for now, yeah, this is for this video. I hope it's not too long for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next.